Well, thanks for staying with us here on THV 11 Plus for Arkansas News Now. I'm Journey Taylor here with meteorologist Simone Thomas, who has been busy. It is storming.
Yeah,
cats and dogs. And
we've got some heavy rainfall. And This is a look at I-530, that exit to take you to Whitehall and Sheridan. A couple of minutes ago, we had some really heavy hail or very large hail falling in this region. Right now, that is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Now I'm going to start with a view of the state to let you see we've got a complex of storms impacting central portions of the state. We've got that warning down in Jefferson County. Looks like another warning over on those counties that border the Mississippi River. But what we're going to focus on is Jefferson County, because it looks like the strongest part of that storm is moving out of Whitehall and into Pine Bluff. And where we're seeing the largest hail right now, just north of, looks like the center of Pine Bluff, riding along though Highway 79. So if you are in Jefferson County and you know anybody along Highway 79 or Highway 270 where we're seeing that intersection, that looks like where the largest hail is falling. Quarter size to a little bit over an inch and a quarter to an inch and a half size hail is likely falling here. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for a good chunk of the state, including Jefferson County through 3 o'clock, but it's likely that the rain will be pushing east through the afternoon. We'll talk more about the rest of today and the ways ahead in your 7-day outlook.
all right, Simone, thank you. Well, as the fighting with Iran escalates, the country has now named a new supreme leader, and U.S. officials also now say a 7th American has died from the Iranian attacks. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Thick black smoke rose above Beirut today as Israel targets Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. In Tehran, plumes engulfed much of Iran's capital city after weekend strikes by the U.S. and Israel targeting oil storage facilities.
I think we are all seeing right now the threat that this clerical regime poses to the region and to the world. They are trying to hold the world hostage. They are attacking their neighbors.
The latest fighting comes as Iranian clerics chose slain Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, as his successor, prompting celebrations from hardline supporters. Israel offered this warning.
The highest risk job right now is to be the new Ayatollah. That's a high-risk job.
President Trump told Fox News he's not happy about the selection. He had said he wanted to be involved in choosing the next leader.
We don't want to come back every 5 years or every 10 years and do this. So we want to pick a president that's not going to be leading their country into a war.
The president is also blaming Iran for the deadly strike on a girls' school late last month. Sources tell CBS News an early U.S. assessment suggests the United States is likely responsible, but did not target the school intentionally.
It's being investigated, which is the only answer I'm prepared to give.
As the president and vice president paid tribute this weekend to the service members killed in conflict, U.S. Central Command says a 7th has died from injuries sustained during the initial retaliatory attacks. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, authorities in Norway are investigating an explosion outside the U.S. Embassy in the capital city of Oslo. Norwegian police say the blast happened early Sunday morning and was caused by a device placed near the embassy. Witnesses reported hearing a loud bang and seeing heavy smoke after the explosion. No injuries have been reported. Investigators say the embassy appears to have been the target, and they're now searching for suspects and trying to determine a motive. Also developing this morning, new details about a disturbing incident tied to a protest in New York City. Police say officers searched a vehicle Sunday after finding a suspicious device inside. The car was near the home of New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. The search is connected to a weekend confrontation where authorities say a counter-protester threw an improvised explosive device toward people at an anti-Islam protest.
Witnesses reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrier and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers.
Well, 2 people are now in custody in connection with the incident. However, the investigation remains underway as federal prosecutors in the FBI search for more evidence of terroristic threats. Investigators do say now that if the device had exploded, it could have caused serious injuries or even death. Well, now on a crime alert, authorities in Poinsett County are investigating a shooting that left a woman seriously injured and a man dead. Police say they responded to a home early Saturday morning and found a woman outside with multiple gunshot wounds. She was taken to a hospital. Now, while searching the area, investigators found a man dead inside a vehicle nearby. The sheriff's office says he's believed to be the suspect and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The investigation is ongoing. State police arrested a Morrilton man after a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Investigators say 23-year-old Colin Cormier was linked to about 100 images of child sexual abuse material and had been exchanging explicit messages with a juvenile in Texas with plans to meet. Authorities arrested him last Wednesday on multiple charges, including possession of child sexual abuse material and internet stalking of a child. Several electronic devices were seized as the investigation continues. Well, now to the latest on gas prices, which have been climbing since the start of the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. While almost everyone is feeling pain at the pump, one state in particular is being hit especially hard. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
At gas stations coast to coast, Americans are feeling new pain at the pump.
Everybody got bills and stuff. Now the gas is going way back up again.
Skyrocketing oil and gas prices as the U.S.-Israeli conflict with Iran is strangling the flow of tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, that critical waterway through which about a fifth of the world's oil flows. Oil topped $100 a barrel overnight for the first time in 4 years. The national average for a gallon of regular is now about $3.45, up nearly 50 cents over the past week. But in California, AAA reports more than $5 a gallon.
I'm paying $40, but that doesn't get me a full tank anymore.
Petroleum industry analysts on why California has it particularly tough.
A unique market that is essentially cut off from the rest of the country.
The state has the highest gas tax in the nation, requires a cleaner, more expensive fuel blend, and 2 major refineries were shut down due to high operating costs. Sunday evening, President Trump downplayed the spike in oil and gas costs, calling it a very small price to pay on social media. Energy Secretary Chris Wright on Face the Nation.
They shouldn't go much higher than they are here because the world is very well supplied with oil.
Meanwhile, some are already changing their habits.
Part of the reason why I have my bike here is because it's cheaper.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is urging the White House to tap into the nation's strategic oil reserve. The White House said only if it's needed. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, a week after rolling out a new rate framework, Entergy is now proposing a hike in electricity rates. The utility says it plans to ask regulators to approve about a 3% increase for customers. Entergy says the money would help fund upgrades to 2 power plants and build a new solar field that would supply a Google data center in West Memphis. If approved, the company says the average residential bill would rise about $4.22 a month. Former President Barack Obama's new presidential center will officially open to the public on June 19th. Obama made the announcement Saturday, indicating the opening will coincide with Juneteenth celebrations. A grand opening ceremony will take place the day before and will include people who worked with or supported President Obama. Obama Foundation CEO Valerie Jarrett said President Donald Trump will not be invited to the ceremony, but he is welcome to tour the center. Spring break season is here, but some popular beach destinations are trying something different this year. Hear how one city is rethinking the party scene and what it can mean for visitors and businesses. That story coming up.
Well, today's storms aren't our only chance for severe weather today. We have a weather impact alert in effect through Wednesday with all modes of severe weather and some flooding potential possible. The details on everything you need to know for the week ahead are coming up in 4 minutes.
The partial government shutdown is having a growing impact on travelers. Just as spring break season gets underway, flyers are experiencing long lines in several cities. Chris Van Cleve is at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport.
The word of the day for flyers is really uncertainty. Uncertainty about what they'll find at airport checkpoints across the country. In some cases, they're going to walk into the terminal and see extremely long lines. Why is this happening? This week, TSA officers are going to miss a paycheck because of the ongoing partial government shutdown impacting DHS employees. And they don't know when they're going to get paid again. Missing that first paycheck has resulted in sick calls increasing and thus wait times growing at some airports. Take a look at Houston Hobby Airport on Sunday. People waited 3 hours or more at points there. Starting the day Monday, wait times were around 2 hours at that airport. And then New Orleans, Sunday morning, people found the line winding through the terminal and into the parking garage.
We had missed both our flights. We were waiting in TSA just to get to security for 4 hours.
Several airports saw longer than normal wait times and now are warning flyers to arrive at least 3 hours early. TSA and much of the Department of Homeland Security are not funded because of a stalemate between congressional Democrats and the White House over immigration enforcement. For tens of thousands of frontline DHS workers, this means their second prolonged shutdown since October. What we have seen during past shutdowns, once that first paycheck is missed, sick calls tend to increase. That means those wait times can grow, but it's not necessarily uniform. It can depend by the day, it can depend by the airport, it can even vary by the shift, which is why uncertainty is what flyers are going to need to embrace just as spring break travel is ramping up. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Hello again, and thanks for sticking around. We continue to watch the storms moving east through central Arkansas. The severe thunderstorm warning we were watching for portions of Grant and Jefferson County, that's going to be allowed to expire here at 2:45, and to replace it, starting to move east for portions of Jefferson, Lincoln, and into Arkansas County is a new warning that'll last until 1:15 for the same hazards, those gusty winds and that large hail. We've been talking about the hail this afternoon. It started near Sheridan, very large, road along that Highway 270 line in Whitehall. We've been getting some reports of very large hail that fell in Whitehall. That was where we saw the peak size that we've seen so far in this storm that was peaking, with radar estimating that hail around 1 1/4 inch to 1 1/2 inch size hail. And that's been continuing through central Jefferson County. And as the storm again keeps moving east, that's why they've issued a new warning to last through 1:15. The severe risk that will continue for a few hours beyond that. 3 p.m. is where we have the severe risk. They did take a few of those westernmost counties off just a second ago, but this map has not updated. So as we continue through the next couple of hours, don't be surprised if more counties are dropped a little bit earlier as the storms are closing in on the Mississippi River and move east. Like I said, between now and 3 o'clock, this will pose more of an impact to southeastern Arkansas. Things will start to wind down from Little Rock, Russellville, Hot Springs areas west through the next couple of hours through the rest of the evening. All of the rain looking to push east. Few breaks in the clouds can't be ruled out as we approach sunset, but the clouds returning for your Tuesday, where we'll track that next chance of some storms as we get into Tuesday evening and overnight. Our risk for tomorrow has been updated just a tad, where some of extreme southwestern Arkansas will be included in a greater hail risk, and even the concern for a strong tornado. This is primarily a concern for our neighbors in Oklahoma and Texas, but again, some southwestern portions of the state are just barely included in that. So tomorrow, the greatest risk, like today, will be the hail, but then those damaging winds, and then just to some of our southwestern portions of the state. If a brief tornado does develop, it could be a little bit stronger or close to an EF2, but again, not as much of a concern the closer you get to central Arkansas. Flood risk is going to be greatest to our west, but we do continue to see that marginal risk for north and western portions of the state. Again, as we start out the day on Tuesday, mainly dry, but through the afternoon and evening, that's when a few thunderstorms could bubble up to our southwest coming out of Texas and Oklahoma, and we see more of that through the latter afternoon into the evening, bringing more impacts into the state into that overnight into Wednesday time frame, and then into Wednesday morning into the afternoon is when more of that starts to shift east into southeastern portions of the state, and we have that slight risk lighten up for that part of the state. That's also where we get the flood risk. Wednesday is likely going to be the day with the heaviest rain more widespread across the state. So hail is the big story today. Tomorrow is the hail and the wind, but Wednesday the big story will be the heavy rain and the flooding. As we continue through Wednesday, like I said, we started out with some rain to our north and western portions, but it does move east through the state through the afternoon and evening. Looks like it's moving out of here though by Thursday morning, and as we head into the weekend, we do have a drier period to look forward to. Maybe some light showers on Sunday as a cold front ushers in a cooler start to next week. But before we get there, we've got to get through now in the middle part of the week. That's why we have a weather impact alert in effect between today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, because as you see, we have multiple rounds of rain and storms that could produce those severe impacts and some flooding concerns. So just make sure you have multiple ways to stay informed and you get those alerts. We'll be talking more about what to expect with our latter newscast today. Through the middle part of the week, we'll continue to see upper 70s, low 80s. Wednesday's rain coming through with a cold front that'll offer us some 60s on Thursday, but more sunshine as we enter the weekend with some temperatures in the upper 70s and light opportunities for rain returning by the end of the weekend.
All right, Simone, a lot for us to keep our eyes on. Thank you. Millions of Americans planning spring break trips will head to Florida. As CBS's Christian Benavides reports, destinations there are looking to welcome those who are looking to party responsibly.
At Mango's Tropical Cafe on South Beach, owner David Wallach says he's hoping for change this spring break.
What are we going to do to reverse the depression?
We're breaking up with you.
In 2024, Miami Beach successfully called it quits with spring break after seasons of violent and unruly crowds.
While that's a wonderful thing, who do you then attract with a different demographic to now fill in? Remember, March is a month where everyone pays half of their year's expenses.
So now the city's working to balance law and order with cautiously pulling back certain rules.
Loosening up the restrictions doesn't mean a return to the past. Miami Beach is looking to shift the focus to health and wellness in hopes of attracting a different crowd.
Green juice?
The city is planning marathons, high-intensity workouts, even yoga. As Miami Beach opens up, Panama City Beach on the Florida Panhandle is cracking down.
Play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes.
That city has told unruly spring breakers they're not welcome after online flyers called for a beach takeover. Across Florida, authorities are on high alert. The trade group Airlines for America forecasts 171 million passengers over the spring break travel period.
So people are still spending money on travel, but they're really going to be focused on value.
Sherry Young is a hospitality and travel expert.
The hotels, the resorts, they've really had to try to control their increases in price.
And Miami Beach may have some deals to be found as business owners look to welcome tourists back responsibly. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami Beach.
Well, the car rental company Hertz released its list of top 10 cities for spring break. Orlando tops the list, while Miami came in number 8.
Yeah, as we continue through the afternoon, especially if you live in eastern portions of the state, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. The threat is starting to wind down for some of western and west central Arkansas, but we do have an active warning right now for portions of Lincoln and Arkansas counties, and that watch is in effect until 3 p.m. Today won't be our only chance for severe weather this week. We've got that weather impact alert in effect through Wednesday. If you missed the details, come back at 4. Chief Meteorologist Tom Brandon will have more.
Perfect. I was just about to say that. Of course, more news and weather tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. So thank you so much, Simone, and we'll see you guys then. And I actually think we're going to close out on this tower cam looking at the state capitol. A good gloomy day, but it will be a good Monday.